Oh, that gets shorter and shorter every week.
I know, right?
swear.
I think that's on purpose.
I know. Well, whatever. I'm mid-sharing. Hey, maniacs, welcome to episode 119 of Soundcasting Network's very own video game podcast, where your argument is...
Invalid. I'll say it straight this week.
Oh, thank you very kindly, because I'm like panicking and multitasking right now. I'm like, We are proudly brought to you by, pardon the mess behind me, but Voodoo Ranger IPA, of which I'm currently out of, but our wonderful Sageville has a few boxes behind her that will show you some of their offerings. Oh, and of course, Savering's on deck with the which one?
This is just regular old IPA, New Belgium IPA.
You're done with
what's in stock.
Nice.
Yes, and also the Atomic Pumpkin is in stock. It's out of season, and they're serving it. Yeah.
Where?
I'll have to ask her. I think they're at Winco.
Oh, okay. Well, Winco.
Yep.
I won't go near that store.
No way. That's the best shop. But we're totally not sponsored. But
it's the only place like an anti-maskers like just come up to me.
Really?
Oof.
Yeah.
We're going there.
Also, just it's like the only place I've been harassed as a woman.
Really? At a Winco?
The Winco by us.
Oh.
The other
Okay.
Wincos, it's been fine. Just that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we do live off the Scum and Villainy Express over here. Like we're Scum and Villainy adjacent. But anywho.
Yeah.
Maniacs,
place better than that, actually.
We are not coming to you from Studio 212 in South Lake Union, Seattle. We are coming to you from mysterious places you'll never figure out in your darkest and lightest of days. But we are all having so much fun. We are still part of the Soundcasting Network, sharing a podcast forum with the Glow Up, the Re-Show, and one of my favorites, How to Be a Better Drinker. And at the helm, I don't believe we have London with a Y today. We have the Prince of Parmesan. We have the Region of Rigatoni. The super producer taking a double deucer. We got Keith the Boogie. Woo! Go Cougs. And let me go around the table. Before that, I almost forgot. If you're not already liked, subscribed, and followed, we are salt_tierpod on Instagram and Twitter. We are just Salt Tier Podcast on Facebook and YouTube. And how does it show up on Steam?
Steam, we're just a Salt Tier Podcast. You can just
How are we showing up on Twitch?
Saltier Podcast.
Yep, Salt Tier Podcast.
Fantastic news. And what is our handle on Bumble and Grindr?
Well, you're in charge of those accounts.
We get a lot of hits on those, I promise.
Salty balls with a W.
Oh, Jesus. Sounds like you're the one that's been making the titles for a YouTube stream.
Yeah, I've been maintaining those websites. Yeah,
I have to like switch it every time I whatever. That said, I am Loud and Brown at Loud and Brown on Twitter and Instagram, and I am Gross Deaf with a PH on PlayStation and Steam. If for some reason you want to play and lose to me in video games, because that's what will happen. And I'm pointing to my right, but it looks like, yeah, I'm still pointing to my right. We have
howdy. You have the Saverings ... Thank you for joining us. You introduced me right at 4:20 into the broadcast, which is awesome.
This is where we're gonna put the air horn sound effect post-production.
Yeah, post-production. Get that in there, London. Hi everyone. It's good to be seen. Good to see everyone. As far as what I've been doing this week, check us out on the Steam page. There's a little expansion to a game you may or may not have heard of. Speak on this podcast. A little game called Stellaris, which I have not been playing. You guys will be proud of me. I've not been playing Stellaris. It might be. I might try to get some multiplayer games or something together. So keep an eye out on the Steam page if that sounds exciting to you in any way, shape, or form. I've been playing a little bit of Dota 2. It's my favorite game that I am trash at. I'm horrible at clicky games now. I can't do the real-time strategy or any of the Heroes games, but I'm going to try, damn it, and it's fun. And there's a new hero, there's a new patch, and she's totally broken, and she's totally awesome, and she's kind of like an Overwatch character, and I mean that in a good way. Yeah, she's completely broken. She's got a hammer, so she's like, "Who's the dude with the hammer?" She's kind of like the dude with the hammer and Mercy put together. So she's kind of broken.
That sounds
completely broken.
well. It
Yes,
just
and it
sounds
is.
really, really different. I mean,
It's a paladin type character. Got a mace, but can like heal and do damage and block all that stuff. It's kind of broken, and she's kind of thick too. So all the Rule 34 stuff is already in effect right now.
oh, geez, yeah, that stuff happens. I mean, those archetypes. We'll get to that when we get to our archetype topic. Moving on.
Yep. And other than that, I'm prepping up to play some VR. I was talking about this before the show. If you're not watching the podcast, I am gesticulating to. I got the Valve HTC Vive Lite boxes. This is for the full room motion tracking. I also have the Valve Index controllers coming. I don't have a Valve headset, but I have the HP Reverb G2, and you can use that. That is actually a substitution for the Valve headset. That'll run on Steam, and you can use that instead of a Vive or an Index. So I'm going to have the full, they call it the God tier VR, because it's all together, and it's Frankenstein together, and it's two different systems. But if you have this and these parts, it's the God tier VR. So I'll be messing around with that. I might play some more games with Sage and get killed in the first 5 minutes, but it'll be like God tier, though. I'll get killed God tier VR.
It looks like Stotty is getting a VR headset next week.
Oh, is he? Hold on. Let me switch on over to the comments. What up, Stotty? Oh, nice. What are you getting there, Stotty? As far as headsets, I think you were saying you're going to get the Rift, the Oculus, right? Not the Rift, but the Quest 2.
While we wait for a response,
that's probably the best
all the
overall.
maniacs that don't know,
yeah,
Stotty is our fourth Beetle.
Yeah, he's
our
the sub.
Jerobi.
He's on the practice squad. Yeah,
he's in a NBA D League.
Yeah. We're gonna call him up. You're gonna call him up for the playoff roster if we need him one day.
Pull him up from the minors.
Oh, Stotty going right for it, getting the Valve Index, my friend. Oh, dude, we're gonna have to play some stuff then.
What the F is a Valve Index?
The Valve Index is the newest, most current version of Valve's VR. It's their native Steam VR headset. So with Oculus, you have the Quest, and I guess sort of the Rift, even though that's not really a thing anymore. With HP, they have a bunch, but their flagship right now is the Reverb G2. Who are the other players? Sony has the PSVR. The Valve Index is the Valve Steam version. It's got the highest refresh rate. It's got the widest field of view. It works natively with everything on Steam. It works natively with the controllers, the Valve Index controllers, which are the best controllers. So yeah, he's going right for it. So my headset and the Index are like pretty much neck and neck. Those are like the two premium God tier VR headsets you can get right now. Yeah. What else we got here?Got a new monitor, which I'm trying out right now.
Ooh.
Yeah, got a little 4K little dealie here.
Were
Early
you
birthday
talking about
present.
buying that last week or the week before?
I was. I think I did mention it on the show last week. So far so good. It is a VA panel, which are a little bit brighter than an IPS panel. There's three main types of panels. There's a VA, a TN, and an IPS. The TN has the lowest picture quality, but the highest refresh rate. So if you want to play all twitchy, that's the one to get. A VA panel is sort of in between, and the IPS panel is the one with the best colors, but it usually has like a lower response time. Well, now those have changed. The IPSs have gotten a much quicker response time. They're much more common now. So those are the ones to get. So for my main one, I have an IPS screen, and for this one, I have a VA panel, and I'm switching back and forth and moving windows back and forth, and you can tell the difference. And this is a 4K monitor versus a 1440p monitor, which is my main one I'm looking at here. So yeah, it's interesting. But that's about it. And last but certainly not least, we have the Sages of Bells. Thank you once again for joining us. It's great to see you again. What's up?
Still, once again in this void of internet. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at SageBell. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at SageBell_model. So I played Phasmophobia. So we didn't get any new maps, but it was smoother, and there was a little bit of a difference. There was a difference to it. You can go to your level and choose the difficulty within the level, like the map.
Okay.
So like if you wanted to go to the house, you could choose if you wanted to play easy, intermediate, advanced, or expert.
I only have one question, Sage Bell. Is there more dishes and cups to pick up and mess around with after you die? That's all I want to know.
No.
No. All right, maybe next time.
But no, I don't think you can pick up the soap either. There's a prison.
It's a prison level.
Yeah, there's a prison map.
Ooh, nice.
And we were looking at the wrong jail cell, which I thought was hilarious. Like, and I was like, "Go, guys! It's right here!" And then, like, the ghost spawns in front of me. I'm like, "I'm gonna die!"
Nice. I wonder what you pick up and I wonder what you can pick up and mess with. There's no plates and dishes in jail.
Yeah, I don't think you can pick up the handcuffs either because there's handcuffs everywhere. You can pick up the books. Tons of handcuffs. Just they want you to get kinky with it.
Tons of. Is that a Riku?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
And then on Sunday, I participated in a Dead by Daylight tournament. I've provided some clips from it, which are mostly me, but it's the people on my team. So it's really kind of just humorous, and I tried to boop as many characters as I could. So I have a couple of me just going up to like somebody and going like this, which is just a point.
And you're playing in a VR?
No.
Okay.
So what does? Sorry, and forgive me. What does boop it? It's just like something to taunt someone. Like you point and you.
So in Dead by Daylight, there's 2 emotes the survivors can do, which one is a point. So there's a pig character from Saw, and so you can like crouch and go up and boop the snoot. So I made it like a joke to try to boop every killer that we played against.
That's pretty great.
Nice.
And then the other emote that you can do is a come here. So it's basically you can go that way or come to me. And those are your 2 emotes.
Nice.
So yeah, booping people is the move, huh?
And then one person on our team who played Killer, he was playing a killer that throws hatchets. And if it's all put together in the clips, so if it's all put together, you'll see him. Oh God!
Oh God! I was not expecting my head scares me.
I ran into a wall. I'm sorry.
I was very, very.
Boop. Working up on it up there. Yep. Oh no! Sage, you're a fucking troll!
I gotta go.
Good luck. I do not have borrowed time.
It's okay. It's okay. Oh, sorry you guys, I'm muting myself. Oh, Cass does a little juke over to the side.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
So, as you could tell on the far side of the screen, one of the characters went from like a face to like a laying down. He threw that hatchet like halfway across the map and got somebody who jumped off a hill mid-jump and got them.
That's like some Call of Duty type stuff right there.
And the other person you saw who obviously wasn't me was our commentator, and she's Scoodles. You should remember her from 2 months ago, last tournament I did.
She was loving that.
Yeah. So it was a really fun tournament. If it falls on a time when her stream team is doing a charity, it would also end up being a charity tournament. But this was just a for fun tournament with her community.
Nice.
We
Very
placed
nice.
third. Not that impressive when there's 5 teams, but we placed nice in middle, just right in the middle.
Hey. Nice. All right. That looked like fun.
Yeah. You saw me do 2 boops.
Is there an
And
achievement
then-
for those?
Yeah.
Is
I
there?
did.
Nice. All right.
And the Michael didn't even know. He was like, "You did try to boop me," and I was like, "Yeah, I got you right in the butt."
Does it count if it's the butt? I thought the boop was supposed to be right on the nose.
Well, certain characters, people want to boop other spots.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you just want to just boop where you're gonna boop, you know.
I'm trying to think if there's an equal to any of the games that I've played in the past, and the only thing I could think of is in GoldenEye, when you slap someone before you kill them, is like the real flex is like, I didn't even need to shoot you first. You just go around the corner and go whack, switch to the shotgun, bang.
Well, technically, any game where there's a spray. So, like, if you kill someone in Overwatch and you leave a spray, that's kind of a
beforehand
or after, like right where their body is. Just go about your business.
But afterwards would be easier. They're
The
already
survivors
dead.
can't do anything but emote. They can't hurt the killer.
that's what's dangerous. Is like, oh yeah, that doesn't even do damage. And
Yeah.
Do they have sprays? They
No.
have sprays. Then there's no sprays in Overwatch.
In Overwatch, no. I meant in Dead by Daylight, you can't
Okay.
kill other people. Only the
Okay.
killer kills.
All right.
So survivor can only emote. You can stun a killer. You saw me throw down that pallet. If it was timed correctly, you could hit the killer as he's going through the pallet, and then it stuns him. But
I think that'd be an interesting mechanic if you could kill other survivors, because then like let's say like the killer grabs a person and they're all picking him up doing the finishing move, and you can just like take them out like Hunger Games, like Katniss did to that dude who was getting eaten by the things. Yeah, it's like a
no
mercy
points
kill.
for you.
Yeah, it'll be a deny. You know, if we're gonna put it in League of Legends or Dota 2 terms. Yeah, you don't get no XP, killer.
The best you can do in that situation, I think, is if you run out the timer. Once all the gates are open, there's a timer and you have to leave. And if you die in match, the killer doesn't get the points, I believe, because he didn't kill you.
Okay.
They didn't.
So you got away.
Mm-hmm.
More or less. Okay, I got
More
you.
or less.
All right.
That's why there's a thing called the hatch in the game. And so the hatch spawns when either you're the only survivor left or the gates are open.
Okay.
Is that a Lost reference?
The hatch.
I guess.
Totally. Oh, you haven't seen Lost Age? Watch like the first 4 seasons and then just quit.
I mean, I honestly would. I know it's terrible once it gets further on.
Yeah.
Just keeps going.
First 4 seasons probably the best maybe television. It's up there. It's way up there. But then after that, woo.
But yeah, you could escape through a hatch. You can find a rainbow key, and then once the hatch spawns, you could just open it and take as many people with you, which completely is gives you way more points versus just escaping the normal way.
Okay. Nice. Well, all right.
Oops.
What we got there, Maestro?
Oh, I don't know, man. That's not my topic. I was asking if are we done with Dead by Daylight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next topic.
And that is in big bold letters, the Saverings ... Take
All
it
right.
away.
All right. I'm going to try to keep it brief because I want to hear what everyone else has to say on this. This is something that we have been noticing over the years. We've been having this podcast for a few years now. We've seen the trend kind of go up and up. Basically what had happened was, long story short, there was another studio that Sony was contracted with. They had done some work with Sony and other developers, other publishers, and the project that they wanted to take on, a really back burner project. Nobody was really asking for it, but they wanted to take it on and have it be released by Sony or something. So they petitioned and they got the part to remaster The Last of Us. Now, I know The Last of Us has already been remastered twice besides its original launch. Yeah.
How old's the game?
It's 8 years old.
Oh.
It's been remastered twice. It's about to be remastered a third time. So basically what had happened was Naughty Dog, we covered this a little bit on the channel. They had kind of a meltdown last year. They kind of showed their butt last year. They pulled a CD Projekt Red where they were kind of like an industry darling and then just stepped in it. One of those companies that snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. That game pretty much got buried by Ghost of Tsushima, and that should not be a thing. Like, that shouldn't have happened. But this company, we're working on it. Sony decided to go ahead and do a full remake of it. And somewhere in the sauce, that got lost, and it ended up being handed back over to Naughty Dog. So Naughty Dog themselves is going to do a remake of, and none of this is confirmed, but it's all pretty much confirmed. Like this is completely this. There's been some other pieces that have shifted. People that used to work there have spoken anonymously to credible outlets. And this sounds like something Sony and Naughty Dog would be into these days. But basically, what happened was, long story short, I'm trying to make this short. They ended up moving the game back over to Naughty Dog, which negates any new game or any sequel to anything that people want to see get made by Naughty Dog. So instead of them working on something new or a sequel to something that they want to see them work on, they're going to remake Last of Us for the third time. Also in the process, Days Gone, the game that came out about 2 or 3 years ago, that zombie open world survival game, which did really well. People seemed to really like, and was and it was sneakily an alternate history sequel to the old Siphon Filter games. If you all remember Siphon Filter on the like way back on the PS1 with Gabe, whatever that guy's name Gabe was, and you were like a spy, and it was very actiony and stuff like that. Very popular back on the original PlayStation. It was a pseudo alternate history sequel to that game, which was kind of cool. I thought that was a cool Easter egg. It was Days Gone takes place in a world where you lose as the hero in Siphon Filter. So there was a sequel to that. That got completely taken off the shelf. So they're not going to do that. And the company that put all their chips into making this remaster completely got left out, completely got boned, and now they don't have any. They're gonna kind of have to start from scratch and start over with something else. When that was their project, their pet project, and they were working on it, and they were the ones that petitioned Sony for it originally. So all this news came to light. So granted, given what happened last year with Naughty Dog and Sony, did not go over very well with people. This has been something that's been building up with Sony themselves. If you can have London pull up like the next little Sony bit there. That'd be the Sony's obsession with AAA blockbusters. This is something that we've been seeing happening over the last few years. They've been having a pretty big talent drain over there at Sony. A lot of their VPs.
Is everybody moving to competitive? And
no,
if they're not going to AAA games, are they going to mobile and indie?
No, they're focusing mostly on AAA games. That's kind of been their thing.
But that's what I mean when I say talent drain. Like,
use the second link there, London. The first one is behind a paywall or something like that. I noticed. Because good old Bloomberg. But pretty much, they've been losing a lot of talent. Some of their VPs, like big names, have been stepping down. A lot of developers at first party owned studios have been stepping away. They've been losing their ground over in Japan because Sony PlayStation headquarters moved from Japan to California. So now they're basically a North American based company. They've been censoring a lot of anime games that normally were exclusively on PlayStation, and now they're on Xbox and Switch and on PC and on phones when they didn't used to be before. So people have been seeing these things happening. The PS5 sold well over there, but it's the weakest selling PlayStation system since forever. So Sony Japan pretty much got sidelined from the PlayStation 5's launch. Didn't do very well over there. It's huge, which is not a good thing over there. People like small, compact consoles over there. So just Sony, they're just showing that they're just kind of out of touch. They're going for the big guns and just forgetting their core audience. And so this is something we should just pay attention to here on the podcast. Have any of you been noticing anything with Sony over the last few years? Any of you in the crowd? Any of you here on the podcast?
Yeah, well, now that it seems like the movie company, Sony
Motion Pictures.
Yeah,
Yes.
And they're in conjunction, with Spider-Man, obviously, but also, who are they owned by? They're owned by Sony. But Sony Entertainment, what else do they own? Why is that blowing my mind?
Crunchyroll, Columbia, Sony Television, which owns a lot of stuff. They own I Love Lucy.
So I'm like wondering, like how much that goes into play, because Warner Brothers and Disney are just going so hard right now. Like they're going so gnarly. And I don't know if they're just trying to make the fact that they have a console. I don't know. Like it seems like they're grasping at straws. It seems like they're up to something.
Yes. They're focusing on the cream of the crop, big budget things. They're trying to hit a home run every time, which Sony is known for. a lot of their most popular flagship games are those big budget Uncharted's and things of this nature. But they're also known for having a wide selection of games. They're also known to catering to their target
Do they
audience.
have a multiplayer like killer? Like, do they have like
No.
a multiplayer big budget game?
Besides FGC, not really, or things that are not also multi-plat like Warframe.
Yeah, they don't have anything exclusive.
No.
That's
I was gonna
competitive.
say Dead by Daylight's cross-compatible. You said
Yeah.
multi-plat.
yeah, stuff like that. Yep, but their own thing, no.
Yeah, I guess not. I mean, I guess none of the other titles do either, but as developers, that's really important. But as a publisher on a console, who knows at this point? At this point, it's just trying to pretend that you're somehow more important than a $500 tower that you could build, and that's getting harder and harder to disguise.
It's pretty much impossible right now. Yeah, you're right. And we
were talking about this 5 years ago. There was still an argument to be had, just due to consistency and exclusives. But in 2021, it's really hard to tell someone $500 in this machine that you have to pay an annual fee to play online for, and all the parts are proprietary.
Oh, you guys, I forgot to bring this up. I don't know if you can see the box. Hold on, I'll tilt it.
Yeah, you got a box.
I am the proud owner. I got a console.
I am so shocked at
the
that.
new ones.
Well, do you see right next to it? That's a Switch. I have two consoles.
I know you have the Switch. The Switch makes sense. We've talked about this on the podcast several times.
I have two current consoles.
But the Xbox was a weird move for you because what can you play on the Xbox that you can't play on PC?
But that's the beauty of it. I have Game Pass already. I can play those games on PC. There's games that are only on Xbox that are on Game Pass, and vice versa. There's games that are only on PC that are also on Game Pass.
Because we talked about this, about me complaining that my PlayStation was in my living room, and the cool thing with this is
this
goes anywhere. I'm like, well, my PC doesn't go anywhere. I don't have room for it in my room.
So I already have Game Pass. I already have everything. I already have Xbox Live because that's part of the bundle deal. I got the little sweet deal where you get gold and you get all Game Pass Ultimate or whatever it's called. So it's an extra screen. My kids are mostly going to be playing with it. It's another streaming box. It's on the network. So you can stream media back and forth to it, and it's also an emulator. So if you boot it up into development mode, you can load emulators that are right on the Windows Store onto your PC, and from an external hard drive you can play PS1, PS2, PS3, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Game Boy, all that stuff. So, and you figure, and here's how I rationed it. Controllers are $60, right? This thing was $299. So for $240, you're getting a little second little beast that you can mess around with. So,
no, that's cool, and that's like, we've talked about the one thing that you can say that is positive about consoles is the same reason people like Apple products. It's open up the box and it does the thing that you paid for.
I'll stop you right there because after I set it up, it crashed.
Oh no!
And then I rebooted it, and then it forgot my Windows password. So the password I was logged into on my PC, I was signed into Skype on. I had my Hotmail from 1997. That's my Microsoft account still to this day. My Hotmail from 1997 that was open, but the Xbox forgot it. So I had to reset. 39. I had to reset my entire Microsoft password and sign back into everything else just because the Xbox forgot it. And I will say this: I lied. I did play some Stellaris, but I played the console version for about 30 minutes, and it is a nightmare.
Sounds infuriating because I remember Sagebell. Do you remember when StarCraft released on N64?
I do.
My friend, my dear Sage, I am so happy you never had to try to play that. It is awful. Trying to connect those buttons. That said, consoles are stupid, so screw it.
Never had a console growing up.
Yeah.
PC Master Race. But moving on, we can talk about this later, but Saverings, we have so many topics to get through. Sorry, Saverings ... I don't know who Saverings is. Saverings ... We must move on down south to Brazil.
Hey.
And we need to talk about loot boxes, which is weird. Me and London and I helped make these title cards for the YouTube channel. I just had to make one that was clowning on loot boxes. And of course, There we go. So to make this topic not 5 minutes and to make it 2 minutes, I'm going to interrupt. And I went and looked up and I did some research on this.
Did you notice the picture in this is an Overwatch?
Is Overwatch, yeah. Because, I mean, Activision Blizzard, that's the big guns. You know, you got to take that money. But the Belgians and the Netherlands, this was over a year ago, they have classified loot boxes as electronic gambling. So there's like no gray area. They're like, no, that is 100% gambling. And in Japan and China,
do you remember this? You remember this? Remember when we talked about 2K sent out that letter to please talk to your representative on behalf of us for the gambling in the Netherlands? You remember that? We talked about that?
Yeah. And then this is reporting from Engadget, by the way. So, yes, Brazil proposing. This is the right move. This is almost the same thing that happened with the ESRB. This is just one more thing that parents just need to be aware of. One, you need to know about the rating of your game, and two, if you're a very active parent, you know what your kids are playing. Your parent should know, or if you're a parent, you should know that your kids are playing a game that may or may not have access to loot boxes and other forms of gambling.
It's funny you should say that.
Yeah.
Because I you guys tell me in the comments if this was a gaming parenting fail, but my kids were playing GTA 5.
Sure.
And I let them play it because they were playing fully lawful. They were stopping at all the red lights. They were obeying all the traffic signs. Like if they got cops on their tail, they would either try to outrun them or just start the game over. So like that's what they were playing. They were playing GTA, but following all the rules. So I was like, "You're playing GTA," but they're like, "Yeah, but we're following all the rules," and they were.
I am a product of parents that exposed me to mature content very early on. My mom and dad used to date watching kung fu movies in the Philippines.
Nice.
So I used to go with them to go see Steven Seagal movies.
Oh, there you go.
When I was like 7.
Dude, those will fuck you up. Those fucked me up as a teenager.
Yeah, but they're not. They're not psychologically damaging. They're violent.
I don't know.
Then I knew it was a movie, and I just got interested in martial arts. That's the only thing it did to me. And by the time I was 9. I was taking, martial arts.
What's that one? Marked for Death, the one with Screwface. Yeah, that one kind of fucked me up when I was a kid.
Anyway, thank you, Brazil. Yes, I don't know about banning, but I think the idea of regulating and putting a gigantic sticker on it that's that says the same thing that M for mature means.
Yeah.
That, and after that, it's not the responsibility.
There should be a dollar sign on it, like a big fat red dollar sign.
You're totally right. And speaking of dollar signs, we're moving on because we need to get through these savings. ... Speaking of money, we're moving to scalpers. Wait, what? 2,600?
Yeah, we talked about Mario is dead last week. That was the thing that was trending. Rip Mario, because Nintendo, they like to pull a classic Disney back when stuff was on VHS. HBO is doing it right now on HBO Max. They have movies that come and go, and you're just like, dude, your service is like 4 months old. How are you taking stuff off it already? But anyway, so we talked about this last week. Nintendo was pulling the 3D Mario All-Star Collection off of the Nintendo eShop. That included Super Mario Galaxy, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario 64. And everybody was kind of complaining about it. Well, now scalpers are now scalping copies of the physical edition of this game because those are going to be in stock until they're in stock, and then once they're gone, they're gone. So yeah, there's been copies of it that have been going for as high as $2,600. Keep in mind this was $40 like a week ago.
Well, as a #leet podcast, we are in the know of people that can get mods and can get fan brews and stuff like that.
Emulators.
And M's. So when we see this, we're like, cool, people have never ran MAME before. Yeah. That sucks to be you. So in my head, I'm like, good for them for being able to swindle people. But also, Nintendo, get with your fan base. That's money on the table that you're just dropping. That could be not 2,600, obviously, but out of that 2,600, you can get 30. But you can get 30 like 500 times.
These games are all games that are already released 10 years ago. You already made millions and millions and millions. This is free money for you. It's literally free money for you.
So, for example, and Sagebell and Saverings, ... What's an example of a company that has old IP that's doing a good job of being able to access and distribute?
Microsoft with their backwards compatibility with Game Pass, with multiple different platforms you can play it all on.
Word.
So I think out of all the big guns, Microsoft.
I wasn't even talking about just gaming. I was talking about just just media companies in general. But no, that's a very, very good example.
Probably still Microsoft if I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Netflix lost The Office, and The Office is over at Peacock now.
Yeah.
And Peacock's a new company that's working in conjunction with WWE. What is life?
HBO Max. Tom and Jerry was on there for 2 weeks and they took it off. Why?
Because it was exclusive. Like,
no, that's a WB movie. It's your movie. Why is it not on your streaming service?
They're taking it out of theaters, so it needs to be off. So it's only streaming during the time it's on theaters.
That's
is my guess.
Yeah.
And then
But here's the thing though. They made that promise that they're going to have for this year at least all their first run movies are going to be on there, which technically they are. But then they go and take them off real quick, and now they're already talking about before we even get to Dune, which is out toward the end of this year. Dune might just go straight to theaters. You know how many people signed up for HBO Max, including my fiance and myself, to watch Dune? And now they're talking, well, I don't know, maybe we'll take it out. It's your movie. Why would you do that?
This is where I draw a line in the sand, and this is mostly me being a complete shill. But I am that person that still buys Blu-rays and physical copies, to which...
all this shit is just making people like you seem even more correct in what you're doing. Yes.
Because guess what? Anytime I want to watch my favorite movies, like I hate it when people talk about something like the people that are talking about The Office being off of Netflix and it's their favorite show of all time and they don't own a physical copy in any way, shape, or form. Blows my mind. Anytime I'm really into something, I want it tangible. I buy vinyl records of my favorite bands and artists. I buy prints. Look at my room. I buy prints of art for people that I appreciate. And with movies,
you sound like Most Def.
Yo, you mean I sound like Yassim Bey?
No, not him. Most Def.
Oh, not it.
Yeah, not Yazin Bey. That was one of the most disappointing entertainment experiences of my life. Oh man. Anyway.
Some people find religion, man. I can't hate on that. My mom's very
okay.
Catholic.
That's fine. Make some good music if you're gonna change your name up. That was a lame concert. That's a whole other podcast I could go on and on.
It could. Continuing on and moving on, we got to move to the next topic because we were just talking about Mario. Get it on an emulator. We're moving on. We already talked about Sony's AAA blockbusters, right? You said that earlier by accident.
Yes.
So we're moving on to the break.
We're going
all the way to the break. London with a Y. Oh, surprise, maniacs! You thought it was just the producer, the super seducer. It's also London with a Y. They're both working, but this is. Wait, pointing wrong.
Hang on, I'm gonna go restock.
Go because I got to do my pitch.
Yep.
This is Soundcasting Network's very own video game podcast called Salt Tier. Thank you. We are brought to you by Voodoo Ranger IPA.
Yes. What are we called?
Sorry, we're called Salt Tier. Soundcasting Network and Salt Tier both start with an S. I'm so sorry. I got really rushed when he told me he was leaving. I had the pitch in my head and then I dropped it. I'm sorry, Sage Bro. And most notably, this is also the part where I pitch one of our best people in the world and one of the finest human beings I know. She's the biggest sweetheart. She streams and she's got something going on this week. When is the next big stream you have?
Oh, you're pitching me.
Yes, because I love you with all of my heart.
I believe we're doing Thursday night, 7 p.m. Pacific. And the game is a new game.
Sage, I'm going to interrupt only because you've met her and it doesn't match anything we're saying. My mom is on the Facebook stream and she emojied prayer hands. You've met her. That's kind of on brand, right? That's on brand. Bless you. Thanks, Mom. There's nothing Catholic about this podcast. Continue. Thursday night. And what game?
We're going to be playing a cooperative horror survival game called Devour.
Wait, I think I saw that. Hang on. Let me look on Steam. I think I was looking at that game.
Stop a possessed cult leader before she drags you to hell with her. Run, scream, hide. Just don't get caught. Have you got the nerves of steel? 2 to 4 players online co-op?
It's $5.
$5?
It's $5. It's got a very positive review. Out
Take control of
4,000
members.
4,049 reviews. Very positive. It's pretty good.
3,943 recommendations. So we'll see how much I scream on Thursday night.
Check this out. Similar to games I've played. Left 4 Dead 2, 175 hours. Deep Rock Galactic, 97 hours. Okay. All right.
Wait.
I think I might like this game.
You have 100 and something hours in Left 4 Dead, not Dead by Daylight. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, Left 4 Dead 2, 175 hours.
Okay. Well, London, we're moving on to... Oh, God. It's row 9, but it's not number 6. It's number T for some reason. But we're moving on to more cheating. We were talking about loot boxes. And what do you know? Cheats were had. And, Savoring ... hates to say this. It was in China.
No.
I know.
No.
I know. And it's
Wait,
kinda
are you talking
gnarly.
about that huge freaking bust that happened?
I know. Oh, we don't need
When
audio.
it comes
but
to video
sure.
games, especially competitive titles, there always exists a group of people who would rather take the easier
I
way
think
to
this is
victory
that
as
huge
opposed
bust that
dedicating the
happened
time
where they-
trying
they
to
got,
improve
like,
one's skills in the
millions of
process of
dollars
getting better.
in, like-
For some, the allure and ease of swiping your credit card to gain an unfair advantage is too much to resist, which has created quite the lucrative market for cheat makers and their distributors. As gaming
I guess
itself
that's
gets
all we
bigger
need for
and bigger,
video.
in turn, the operations of
Look at
these
those
people
monitors.
are scaling up in order
I
to
know.
make bigger profits. But now,
Curved.
Okay, there we go. Audio's off. Thank you, London. So this is a video by Action Esports. They continually
Good channel.
speak exactly what me, Sage Bell, Von Shady, and Saverings ... have been thinking about for the past week. Like, all of the stuff they're talking about is
Yeah.
shit that we have a problem with.
This is it right here. Yep.
Multi-million-dollar, like, they're not hackers. They just found, ways to find. They just built bots. I don't know if
Yeah.
you want to call that hackers.
These-
Angelina Jolie.
These
Hey.
are the people that ruined PUBG.
Exactly.
Yep.
But this one is like a pay service, and you could do and the reason they're so successful,
Dude, look
they
at
did
that.
day rates, they did subscriptions, and they went under the radar forever because they did it through China.
Subscriptions so that your game can be hacked?
Yeah.
No. What I mean subscription is you pay like a monthly fee instead of
Dude, look at this.
I'm only playing today.
Yep,
Look at that.
PUBG. I'm telling you, man, they fucking ruined it. That's why I stopped playing it. It got ridiculous.
And they own, Lamborghinis and $1 million condos. They made $10,000 a day.
Yeah.
Pretty good. But you know what? That's what happened. Like, and remember, with this article reported by Action Esports, said this only happened because of the Great Firewall of China. And it, if there was any global regulation on gaming, this would have never happened. And this is what people are kind of afraid of, but I think things are leading toward.
Mhm.
There's so much cheating on international, specifically countries, right? Specific countries have different regulations, and there's nothing universal. And I think that's what they're forcing the hand of, to be like, this is bad, this is wrong on a global scale, which is what we have with movies,
Yeah.
There's a global rated R. Like, there's a global release that Hollywood puts out where they know it's safe for the entire world. And that's why PG-13 makes all the money.
But even then, they still have to change stuff. I mean, stuff like Frozen and Tangled and stuff, they had to change scenes just to not offend and things of this nature.
And as far as gaming goes, there's a stage in Rio in Brazil in Street Fighter V, and they had to change the Jesus statue
Mhm.
to the World Cup statue. They just cropped it and threw it on a mountain because they're like, oh, maybe China doesn't really like Christianity, so we
Yeah,
swapped.
I had to I had to test localization for the very first Gears of War, and localization also, now besides language, it also included so when you put it in Japanese and you were playing it like you set your Xbox up to be like a Xbox that was in Japan, you had to go play through the whole game where that game has like chainsaw guns, right? We had to make sure that like arms and legs weren't coming off. When you were cutting things, they were just falling apart because decapitations and dismemberment is illegal to show over there. It was just like little stuff like that.
Specific.
And like in Germany, when you chainsaw somebody, you had to cut the blood. Like they had to lower the blood, how much blood came out of it, because you could have blood in Germany, but it had to be lower.
As dumb Americans, because of the Victorian era, youth show violence and you show blood, we're cool with it. You show one nipple, we have an absolute fit.
Yeah.
Free the nipple. I believe, and I don't know if this is malicious or it actually is religion interrupting, but I feel when we destigmatize the human body of all types, crime and censorship will go down and everybody will just appreciate the body and it'll be fine. Because in other countries, nudity and sexuality aren't really the problem.
We were just talking about Brazil. Have you ever watched a Brazilian kids show?
Are people like honking?
That shit looks like a freaking primetime show over here.
Wow. But in America, other countries look at our, primetime Friday and Saturday night network TV, and they feel that we are violent. Like that blood and especially gun violence, we're really loose here in the States. And that includes the games. So free the nipple and we'll see what happens. Everybody's got nipples.
Everyone, maybe they'll chill out more. Everyone else has free nipples.
You know what? As the only parent here, I have to speak up and say this. Yes, I agree with you. If you're gonna just everything across the boards, it's whatever.
I'm not saying today. I'm saying gradually.
But when you give corporations, because they're the one that own everything that we see, when you give them that carte blanche, they go kind of crazy with it. And I don't know if I ever talked about it on this podcast, but there's little things in just regular society, in regular movies, like like Iron Man 3. You're probably thinking like, what's seen in Iron Man 3? But there's little subliminal things in movies that as a parent you pick up on, only because you're aware that there are children watching, because your children are watching it.
Heard.
So there's some stuff like that. So I agree with you there, but it's a very slippery slope when you let these tone deaf corporations be the ones to call that shot.
There's a lot of video game characters that are basically only covering nipples. That's what's so weird. It's like you're seeing everything else. Mm-hmm. You're seeing everything but the nipple, and all it is a body part. There's nothing more sexual.
Like I've had to answer some questions that I didn't want to answer at this point with my kids and it wasn't because of video games. It was because the game that they were playing, I wasn't expecting that to be in there. But as the game, it was. And sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes it's out of context, and you're just like, why? Like, why a video game? Like, don't you know your audience? Now I have to have this talk like 2 or 3 years earlier than I wanted to. Thanks. Like, none of you over there have kid.
The game that I'm segueing into for the topic, I don't really have a character that I can drop because Sarada's a dope person, and the character designs for this game are amazing and not sexualized.
Oh, no, not really. At all. Not at all, yeah.
Well, a little bit, but not compared to a lot of other games. Not compared.
I'm thinking Soul Calibur.
Yeah, no, not Soul Calibur. That's not Sarada.
Not Dead or Alive.
Yeah, exactly. So, Maniacs, we're moving on.
Volleyball.
Speaking of sexuality and freeing the nipple, we're moving on. London with a Y. We're moving on to the archetypes of Tekken. So, this beautiful thing happened in the YouTube community and the FGC. Oh, yeah, no audio. Thank you. And all of these other YouTube creators made archetype videos because we are very aware, and I wish Goon was here. We're very aware that the FGC community is very hard to jump into. They're very difficult games.
Was that the Daytona USA car?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
This account is actually freaking amazing that made this video. And they're talking about the Tekken characters as mix-ups, grapplers. Mishima's is actually Mishima's 50-50s, counter hits. Yeah, grapplers. There's all these different archetypes, and this has been going around the entire FGC community.
Keep
So
the
they've
boogie.
done videos on Street Fighter and on Guilty Gear and all these other games as a collaborative effect.
Hold on, time out. Keep the boogie. Why does this look so bad? Stop doing this on your Mac. Use the PC over there. What are
Stop
you
doing it
doing?
on your Wi-Fi.
Seriously, stop doing it on Wi-Fi
Yeah,
on your
this is
Mac
rough.
with freaking 8 gigs. Like, what are you doing? I know it's a Mac.
I know.
Do it
But
on your PC, please.
Saverings. So this happened about a year ago with 2 years ago with One Marvelous Scene
Mhm.
on YouTube, right? Do you remember that?
Which one?
One Marvelous Scene.
No.
It was when all the YouTube accounts that are involved with movies, specifically superhero movies,
Mhm.
they would pick a Marvel scene that held a place in their heart. So one person would be like, oh, it was the fight against the Winter Soldier and Captain America. Or, oh, no, for me, it was...
That's a good question.
Yeah. No,
What
look,
is-
it's a whole video sequence.
What's yours? What's yours, Loud and Brown?
A marvelous scene that made me love the MCU.
Yeah. Like your favorite scene where you're just like...
We're not a comic. We're not comics and movies
I
right
know.
now. No, moving on. We're
Marvel-
low on time.
Marvel's
We're 52
Avengers.
minutes, my friend.
Marvel's Avengers. There you go.
We're
It's
moving
related.
on. Yeah, and a lot of people had that move, but we're moving on.
All right,
what I'm
fine.
saying is that sprouted a YouTube community where they would post something, be like, hey, let's all talk about this one thing. So they did one marvelous event, and recently all the FGC people are like, hey, let's all talk about the archetypes of our game. Because you can get down to the very core of it. Oh, I know. Max, baby. Max. Look at Keith the Boogie trying to troll you. And obviously the image doesn't even fill the screen. Go Cougs. Sorry, I had to dive on you on that. Oh, yeah. You're pressing Apple Plus right now. I know you
Apple
are.
Plus.
Because I'm on a MacBook.
You know what's easier than Apple Plus? Just control and scroll up with your mouse. Because you get, that's right, a scroll button on your mouse. Jesus Christ. Like, what a concept.
No. This is definitely a trackpad on a MacBook. Anyway, that said, the archetype, if you look to it, I will link it to the Twitter and the Facebook of our Saltier podcast. There are a lot of different games that show archetypes. A lot of it is very basic. You know, with Street Fighter, there's the Shotos.
Stop looking up Mac memes, Key the Boogie.
Yeah, but this one kind of goes to broader types like the turtle, the rush down, and the mix up. And it's kind of really cool to see how it applies to other games. And I'm thankful for that. And I'm moving on because there are too many things. And we can go on, hopefully, to a nicer looking video. This will be the archetypes in Guilty Gear. And this is Leon Massey, one of my favorite YouTubers, because me and Goon P&W are trying to get into Guilty Gear. And he breaks down, this is the right video. He breaks down all these other games with archetypes. Oh, this looks good. Thank you. Thank you, super producer, Prince of Parmesan. And they reference Skullgirls.
What the fuck is happening right now?
That's Skullgirls. That game is bananas. That's a fan-made game.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, but it's
hard.
Awesome. But nothing is harder than what you're watching right now. Guilty Gear is the most difficult fighting game I've ever played in my life. But if you get into it, the fan base is loving, and they're beautiful. But they only talk like our podcast. You know, other podcasts will explain a game and talk about it in broad strokes, but our podcast is a bunch of elite assholes that just talk about tower builds and FGC and expect you to know it. The Guilty Gear community is that difference. They will not explain to you what 6D means. They will not explain to you what okizeme is. They will assume that you know the bare bones of the fighting game community. So it's not something you could pick up and play. But look out for it, everybody. Oh, remind me if you can this week. Saverings ... I need to put Birdie on my fight stick.
Okay.
That is a black FGC character, and he needs to be on my fight stick. And that's going to be my outro because we are at the 55-minute mark already. Can you believe it?
Yes. The way time is flying, yes.
Yeah, we
it's
had
kinda
a rant
ridiculous.
at the top of the podcast, but, you know, we got through all of our topics.
I mean, dude, can you believe we're on episode 119? That's ridiculous.
I can, because you and I were with the person, the junkie that must not be named.
Okay.
Threatening to steal our future money.
Mm.
You know, like, there's one thing where I'm like, all right, you went through some hardships, that's fine. And then when he, like, gives us a threat via DMs, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't want to interact with you ever again.
So, yeah. I just got this. That's all I got. Look at that. Control scroll wheel. There we go. That's how you do it, Keith the Boogie.
That's really funny because the scroll reel still did it in increments.
There you go. Look at this.
It wasn't, what I'm saying is, it wasn't gradual.
LOL peasants.
It was basically the same thing as pressing Apple +++. So, talking about gaming and all of that. Oh wait, let me hold it up because I'm really proud of it. I have been DMing comic book artists to see if they have any artwork of my favorite black characters, and I've been DMing black comic book artists like Sanford Green.
Yo, you were talking about deep cuts. You need to get that chick from Tribe. You remember Tribe? That old Image comic from like the early 90s.
That's a comic. Fighting games only.
She's a brawler though in that comic.
That's cool. I could make that so many kung fu movies.
No,
but I'm saying fighting video games only. Otherwise, it would be too broad. Saverings ... You have to understand where I'm coming from. I've already thought about this.
But you're talking deep cuts though, and that's a fucking deep cut.
It is, but it's not a fighting game. So Shaq Fu is showing up on this. I'm waiting to find a good spot for him with his red, white, and blue pants.
Are you gonna do it like all pixelated and stuff too?
Yeah, because Orion from Time Killers, like I showed you earlier, is pixel art. So Maniacs, if anybody on Twitch is even listening anymore, because goodness gracious, sadly, YouTube and Facebook are silent tonight, so I assume it's only Twitch.
We got Jick. We got Jick PK on there.
If you have any other black or brown FGC players, that's going on my stick. So Saverings, as my closing statement, the character that is going to be around my joystick is Josie from Tekken 7, who is the only Filipino FGC person I can think of. So she is the feature.
How would you know? Is that a thing?
Because it says in her description.
Is that a thing?
No. And her knee pads are part of the Filipino flag. It's Jesus her identity. Christ. She's Filipino. You got to understand, Filipinos, we don't really get what African Americans or any other race really gets. We're pretty low on representation. We have Manny Pacquiao and Bruno Mars.
Apparently, Talim from Soul Calibur is Filipino.
I thought she was ambiguously Southeast Asian. If she's
arguably widely known as Filipino.
Oh my God, she's going on my stick. It's gonna be her and Josie, like swinging at each other. Sage Bell, I'm not even joking right now. I have government unemployment money. I might pay one of my friends as an artist to show a scene of Talim and Josie trying to hit each other, and that will circle the joystick of my new stick. Can you imagine that artwork right here? Josie versus Talem? Oh my god. Because everything else is below the 8 buttons. And it's going to be a pretty clean looking artwork. But around the stick, it would be a beautiful yin yang. Oh my god. Thank you for saying that because that's going to happen now.
Nice.
I have been Loud and Brown. I am at Loud and Brown on Instagram and Twitter. If you want to fight me on Street Fighter or Tekken World, use Josie. Or if for some reason you want to fight me on Soul Calibur, well, I will 100% lose because I'm bad.
Yes.
I will use
So he says.
Talim. I will use Talim as my
I don't believe you.
my blood. Well, I actually like using her, even though my main is Cassandra, which is super lame. But
No. Cassandra's the shit. I love Cassandra too.
she has 3 guard breaks.
Yeah.
3.
Cassandra and Lizard Man are like both broken, basically. If you know how to use them.
Lizard
both
Man
broken.
is so broken and
He's
so
yeah,
like
Lizard
I
Man-
hate going against him.
He's been broken in every single Soul Calibur game. Yep.
He's
If
just
you need
he's,
to fight
broken.
me-
Broken.
I am Gross Stuff with a PH on PlayStation and Steam. Thanks for being here. Moving down to the purple-haired one, our lovely Sage Bell.
Hello. Watch me
Hello.
on Twitch on Thursday night, 7 p.m. Screaming about you can find me on Twitch and Twitter as SageBell, all one word, and then add an underscore model if you want to find me on other social media. So one way or another, you'll probably find me. And up to you.
Hi, this is the Saverings. There we go. That's London's job. This is the Savering. This is the Saverings. ... Looking forward to having some more stuff to show here on the podcast. For me, myself personally, I'm going to be setting up my my second little capture rig over there. Hard drives are getting super cheap, you guys. Oh, there you go. There you go.
Oh, don't act like I don't know about all 3 of these. And that's not because of me doing research. It's because if
He's
you
number
don't know,
one.
every Filipino mom knows every
Bautista?
Filipino celebrity.
Dave Bautista?
It's like their job. Yeah, Dave Bautista's Filipino.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Guess who told me that?
Who's that?
My mom.
Oh, freaking Rufio. Yeah, Rufio's totally Filipino.
Yeah, Dante Basco, baby.
Yeah, he's totally Filipino. And I say that because I went to a high school that was 60% or like 40% Asian, so I know my Asians. I can tell them
Yeah.
apart.
Filipinos get
yeah.
around. You got to remember, we are the Latinos of Asia.
That's the polite way of saying it, but yes,
It is.
you are.
Oh my God.
That's the polite way of saying it.
Yeah.
My kids are a quarter Filipino, so yes.
Shannon Sossaman is one of the. When I was in like college, everybody talked about it. I was like, yeah, that's a Filipino girl.
Mhm.
A number 1.
Yeah.
And she got popular, and then she just
Yeah.
disappeared.
Yeah, so I
Continue,
get it.
though.
So hit us up on the Steam group and leave some messages if some multiplayer Stellaris is looking like it's right for you. They actually are going to be changing some very fundamental things in the game coming up in the next update, which will make multiplayer a lot more fun. And multiplayer is already crazy fun, but it will make it a lot more interesting coming up. You could be the Crisis, or you could be the Guardians of the Galaxy, like literally, if you wanted to in that game. You could be all kind of stuff. I don't know.
It'd be Rocket the Raccoon.
You probably could, yes, because you could pick like some like little cute little mammalian species to be. Yeah, that's a good game, Sage Bell. I'm gonna have to get you on there eventually. Hot enough to steal beams. But anywho, check us out here on the podcast. Thank you for doing that. If you're already doing that, I'm gonna cut it short because we're like 4 minutes over. But
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Savoring.
yes, but thank you for joining us. Are we kicking it back to you for the final goodbyes, or am I
Yeah,
closing this
because
bitch
I'm
out?
going to thank, guess who?
That would be Voodoo Ranger, who makes
Can you believe that we have a video game podcast that is sponsored
by a beer company? No.
by a beautiful beer company?
No, I
and
can't.
Sagebell, I'm sure you noticed this because I forgot. They are B Corp certified and employee owned.
Yes.
And
It's like Winco.
we are here by the good graces of Lauren. Thank you, Lauren.
And like by default, they are my favorite beer. Like this is a beer for people that don't normally drink beer.
Especially
seriously.
people that don't like IPAs.
Yes. This stuff is fire.
Like Voodoo Ranger will teach you how good IPAs can be made. They're amazing.
They also make a great sausage, and they have a barbecue sauce.
What?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to try that.
Oh shit.
Yes. I think I actually saw the barbecue sauce at your Safeway.
Get out of here. Really?
I took a photo.
Which is
I'll
funny
send it back.
because that Safeway never has anything. So so I'm surprised.
All right. Maniacs, I want to thank you for joining us for episode 119. We have been beautifully brought to you by the Soundcasting Network with Keith the Boogie, Bobby Stills, London with a Y, and obviously Voodoo Ranger. I want to thank you so much. We are also conjecturally brought to you by Craving Amazing and Bonus Round.
Shout out to Bonus Round.
Bonus Round!
Shout out
It's
to
gonna
Goon.
come in hard.
Shout out to Cat.
Yeah, shout out to Kat. And this has been a production of the Soundcasting Network. Thank you kindly.